Welcome back to this Lenten devotional series based on Mark's Gospel. For day 42, we'll read Mark 15:16 through 20. Then the soldiers led him into the courtyard of the palace, that is, the governor's headquarters, and they called together the whole battalion. And they clothed him in a purple cloak, and after twisting some thorns into a crown, they put it on him. And they began saluting him. "Hail, King of the Jews!" They struck his head with a reed, spat upon him, and knelt down in homage to him. After mocking him, they stripped him of the purple cloak and put his own clothes on him. Then they led him out to crucify him. This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. There's something about this that we really do not want to see, no more than we want to watch as anyone who loves us is tormented. Mark doesn't linger on the details of Jesus' physical suffering. He didn't need to for the people of his generation. They had all seen the hideous bodies of those condemned, beaten to a pulp before they were ever nailed to a cross. Scourging was designed to inflict maximum damage, pain, and terror. Straps of leather carried sharpened bones and jagged metal, which literally tore off the flesh, often down to the bone. Not only did it add to the terror of crucifixion, it made the tedium shorter for the soldiers on duty at the cross, because the victims were already half dead before they were ever nailed up. Though Mark doesn't expound on Jesus' physical suffering, he does focus on other torments. All the soldiers were ordered to do was flog Jesus. To that, they added beating, kicking, spitting, and mocking. They dressed him like a king with a purple robe and put a crown of thorns on his head. And they knelt before him saying, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And you can be sure that their mockery was not just for Jesus, but also for the Jews they despised. By all appearances, the soldiers were in total control. And yet with every word of mockery and every physical blow, they were fulfilling the prophecy that Jesus had given his disciples several weeks before. Check it out in chapter 10. And they were fulfilling ancient prophecy too, like that from Isaiah centuries before. You'll find it in Isaiah chapter 50. So their strutting and posturing power was not all that it appeared to be. They were part of what someone with far greater power was unfolding. And ironically, the words and actions they meant for mockery were true. Jesus was and is the King of the Jews, one greater even than David. And unbeknownst to them, their parody looked to that time in the kingdom of God when King Jesus, the King of the Jews and of all nations, will be given all honor. When we think of Jesus bearing all of the sin and sorrow and suffering of the world, our minds go to his hours on the cross. But truly his passion also included the beating, mockery, and torture. And so anyone who has been physically and psychologically traumatized can know that Jesus has been there too. And for the Jews, who have borne so much hatred themselves across the ages, tragically at times at the hands of Christians, they can know that the one who was mocked as their king that day bore the anti-Semitic travesties that they themselves have known. We don't want to see this, but we must look. We must behold the worst of humanity face to face with the bleeding face of one whose love will prevail. Behold it all in gory color. Here are a couple of questions to ponder as you look back over these verses. How do you see those who use power to victimize others, in fact, displaying their own weakness and vulnerability? What traumas have impacted you, and how? What does it mean for you that Jesus was traumatized in the most hideous way imaginable? God bless you.